Welcome to the Salty Driftwood podcast. I'm your host, Eugene Gibson, and in today's episode, we'll be continuing my ongoing search for money. The quest continues. I hope everyone under the sound of my voice is doing well, and if you aren't, I hope that you do better soon. In this episode, it's more or less like a relatable story or something with I experienced the other evening, and it actually didn't. Well, it sort of started with my search for money, but it had a ending. I still trying to process. But anyway, let me begin. Let me start with this. One of my key interests that I have is I'm very interested in, and I like to read up on things of like military history, military strategy, and things of that nature. You know, I read about battles and things like William T. Sherman during the Civil War, the March to the Sea. Even read his biography. Other things like Livy discourses, especially his one Livy, the Roman historian, especially his discourse on Hannibal, because I admire Hannibal, not Hannibal Lecter in the movie now, the Roman scourge they used to like to call him, the forever enemy of Rome during the Roman Empire, Hannibal from Carthage. So I read up about him, his history, some of the battles. I like to read about battles and learn about military tactics and maneuvers and stuff like that. Like stuff like how, for instance, like World War I, World War II, the Winter War, how Russia and Finland, they went at it when Russia was trying to expand their territory, even though Russia was a bigger force and eventually won the war. I was amazed at the small, they say less superior force of Finland exacted some heavy losses on Russia, which had a real historical moment that led to some other historical events leading up to World War II. So things like that, or like let's say down in South Africa when the Zulus, the Impis, when they repelled the forces of the British at one or two battles with their more or less technically advanced army, or study of the samurai and what they meant to the Japanese society and their moral code of Bushido, stuff like that. Or you like the first what do you call it, Italian Ethiopian War, the first one with Emperor Menelik II, and how he military prepared himself, aligned himself with Russia, and he was able to repel a modern so-called superpower at that time, which was Italy. Now Italy come back later on and exact revenge, but at that point, that was like a shock in the modern world then. So these type of things I'm interested in. I never served in the military. I don't really know why. Maybe it's because the closest thing I have to it is I have a lot of family members in the law enforcement community in my country. So maybe I got it from that and watching them or whatever. You know, they ain't quite the same, but you understand what I'm saying. So I always had this interest in this. Now, I wouldn't tell you I had this from I was small or I was younger, but over the years I developed this interest. And I have some books, like I have the March to the Sea and all that. And one of the most important books that I have it in hard copy. I have it online. I have it in our audio format. I listen to it online and stuff like that. Is The Art of War by Sun Tzu, a Chinese general. He wrote this book centuries ago. But this has become the cornerstone for a lot of modern day military strategists. I also have a hard copy which not only has the art of war, but the method of war, which was claimed to be written by one of Sun Tzu's relatives, Sung Ping. And he is like a building on the art of war, the methods of war. So I have those two in compilation. I often go back to them to reference and resource it just for various reasons. And the reason why I brought that up was I was thinking of a future podcast where hopefully I might get some guests on, and it'd probably be a limited series podcast. And I was trying to figure out, because the book I have on the art of war, that has some commentary in it, and the commentary is from a general, and he equates the concepts in the art of war to how it could apply to modern day leadership, organizations, and stakes and things of that nature. That's business. So I had a rough idea, like how I could produce a podcast later on, where I use my views on the art of war in relation to business, because that's another thing I like. I like business. That's why the search of money continued. That's why the search of money came about, you know. So I was thinking about that. So I went online, and just to look, I went on YouTube, and I put in a search, say, it said the art of war and business, and a video came up from this gentleman from the UK. It was like it wasn't a podcast, it was like a video, and he was saying how he applied one of the concepts in the art of war to one of his experiences in his business of I think he's like a realtor, like a property developer, and he was using it. He's using one of the concept in the art of war to show how he applied it in modern times in his business. So I said, okay, this concept could work. But when I finished the video, I zoomed down, and this where the story take a little twist, and I saw a heading for a video that says how Jewish people are rich, or why Jewish people are rich. Now, bear in mind, I know there's a negative stereotype with Jewish people and money, as there's various negative types with various ethnic groups. Notice I say ethnic groups, I didn't say race, because I have a further podcast coming on, which I hope you listen to, on my concept of race. That's a totally different podcast, but I know the negative stereotypes when it comes to Jewish people and money. Now, the video came up, the picture, the thumbnail, it came up with these two gentlemen in yarmulkes. So I say, okay, these two Jewish men talking about why Jewish people are rich. So I clicked on it, and then another video caught my eye before that even began: building wealth. Two more Jewish men wearing yarmulkes, seemed like they're discussing it. So I clicked on that because that sort of like interested me more. So as I watched the video, there was a list of videos about these Jewish men, and they talking about wealth. Not only that, there were some videos about money and what money means, and there were some discussions with some other rabbis and what money mean, and what the Torah, the Jewish religious texts have to say about money, and different things on wealth management and stuff like that. A whole list. It was like about there's like three different podcasts, but the concept is the same. These two gentlemen in yarmulkes, from that I assume is Jewish, and when I watched them, they were actually Orthodox Jews. And the video what caught my attention, and I ended up watching like about three of them, was this video where the podcast. There was a podcast where they was interviewing with these gentlemen. First it was a single gentleman, and it was two younger gentlemen interviewing the same gentleman, and his story kind of caught my attention because this was actually the first video I watched, and he was a rabbi who was also owner of a wealth management company, which was under a large, significant financial institution, a global financial institution in the world. And I watched two of his videos, and I found it very interesting. And he say, now bear in mind, like the negative stereotype of Jewish people and money. I said, these Jewish men, they talking about money and they explain it to you, and I was kind of amazed. So after that, I closed it out, and then a thought came into my mind, right? So I closed it out, and then I pull up another search. I just said, Jewish views on money. Boom, same videos came up, even some more videos with the religious aspect of how the Jewish think about money. So you say, okay. So close that out. I pulled up African American views on money. totally different type of videos. There was like a list. Now, bear in mind, I know how these algorithms work and how they. I wouldn't say I know exactly how they work, but I know they working. They doing certain things in the background. And there was a list of videos, and most all the videos stating why African Americans are not wealthy. So I closed that out. I said, okay, this may be an anomaly. So I put in Black's views on wealth. Same list of videos came down. I said, all right, let me try something again. Close it out. I put white views on money, right? Another ethnic group, not a race, ethnic group. This was quite the strange one. Really nothing but money. Want to talk about race. I really see nothing but money to say what their views was, which was kind of interesting. Strange, but interesting. So then I said, okay, put it aside. Let me put in Italian views on money. That's the only other ethnic group I could think about. But those videos were really about Italy itself, the country itself, and what their money was, like the lira, what that means, the translation of it, how to say it, and a general concept of it. So I say, okay, this is quite interesting, and from that I draw like a conclusion. Like from my search of money, I learned that money is a concept, right? Money and currency are two different things. Money is a intangible concept, just numerical numbers, right? I guess you could say, like the best description I could describe it as, money is basically your right for goods and services, a right for goods and services, which I kind of like. And currency is more a tangible thing, like the physical representation of this concept, which really don't have any intrinsic value. So a dollar bill is a currency, but the value of a dollar is what money is, which, by the way, changes. The power of the purchasing power of money changes over the time through inflation, and that's another thing altogether. But the currency itself, let's take example, a dollar. A dollar bill in the hands of $1 bill in the hands of a Jewish person, a black person, or a white person, or Italian American. That's the same dollar in each one of their hands. But from what these videos show me is that that's the same currency in each one of those hands. But that ain't the same money in each one of those hands. If you get where I'm coming from, where the concept of this currency, the concept of money, different for each one of these individuals. Now, this is just like an overview, a basic view for me. That's how I view it. So I understand there is a lot of historical and cultural things that happened over the years, like such as the transatlantic slave trade, which affected everyone from African descent in a negative way most of the times in this part of the world, and the relation to the whites or the Caucasians. Then you have the Jewish experience, where they were pre-World War II and what happened after that and all of that. So there are different these views. This views or the concept of money and these different ethnic group minds was shaped by history and time, and the things would happen over history and time, good and bad, shape over history and time. But what was interesting for me, and I don't know whether this is the algorithm, this is what I was getting from especially the Jewish and the black views or the African American views. Now I know, like they have the groups in America. I'm not from America. I'm from Bahamas. If for those who don't know, racism, racial tension, probably everywhere. Once you have different ethnic groups who have the wrong concept of what it actually means to be a part of a group, barring race. So anyway, the Jews and the blacks in America, they have a contentious relationship, as with all other groups, I guess, because in my view, America's so based on race, and not just America per se, and North America, the USA. It's spilled over into this entire region, and it basically came from a European concept. And the underlying thing for all of that, in my opinion, is the exploitation and through the use of capitalism. That's the basic underlying premise for all of this. Because slavery been around from who knows when. But the transatlantic slave trade has a different let me put it like this. Slavery was practiced by many nations in many different ways, and because we live in this time close to that period, that one seems to stick out the worst as a sore, disastrous, brutal, whatever concept or plan or period in history. Period. Full stop. And I ain't just saying that. I saying that from being from one of the Africans. And yes, I saying that, but I am also saying that from being a human. You shouldn't treat humans like that for capitalist gain. The same way of the Holocaust, what happened in Germany with the Jews and Hitler and all of that. You shouldn't. Beyond race. You just shouldn't treat. We should not treat each other as human beings in those sort of manner under any circumstances. Now that goes off the tangent what I actually said. But back to what I saw with the Jews and the black videos on YouTube. Like I said, I don't know if it's an algorithm, but this is what I get from it. From the Jewish, I get a positive energy. From the blacks view, I get like a negative energy. Of course, from the white, I guess it's like a hidden energy, which kind of explains certain things for me. But these two different concepts of money based on ethnic groups, the same abstract idea brought about tangibly through currency, but they have different views on the accumulation of wealth. And like I say, I really don't know where I'm going with this, and I think I need to go even further with this. I sort of understand where it's coming from, but this was interesting to me, and I started begin some more research or some more reading, I should say. I don't like to say research because people say I get this concept now with so much going on. When you say research, oh, you're an expert in that. Oh, this is how you research and blah, 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 blah. But basically research just about reading and trying to understand. So just to quench all of that, I'll say I do some more reading up on it, probably watch some more videos. But I find it quite interesting. And I think that taking my search for money along another path, what are the cultural views on money? Not just the actual view, like what I searching for money, but what are some of the cultural or ethnic views on money? And I may even try to figure out why they so different. I understand, like I say, I understand the historical and cultural backgrounds to why some people may feel about money and wealth and their economic position. These real things would happen, and we see run from that. But why has these views still persisted after all? I guess maybe because people don't understand what money is, or people don't actually want to find out what money is. They only concerned about the accumulation of it because of what it represents, what it claims to represent. Having more of it claims the basic Western capitalistic concept is the more that you have of it, the happier you should be, whatever. And a lot of the Jewish commentary and the videos on that, they had a different view on that, and it was quite an interesting concept based on the two videos I watch on why blacks are not wealthy, which I've been hearing it over and over and over, and some of it is true. But because something is true, don't necessarily mean you have to take it in. Moving forward in my life as I get older, I trying to increase positivity and reduce negativity. Now they do exist because it's yin and yang, but I rather live in a more positive aspect and a positive energy without denying like the bad things in life. You can't deny them; they happening. But it's what you feed more. If you want to eat sugar every day, well, it can happen. If you want to eat more vegetable and fruit every day, well, you relatively know it can happen. No one say you can't do it. No one say that you can't eat sugar. But if you make a consistent diet of just eating sugar, it can happen. If you make a consistent diet of just fruits and vegetables, it can happen. And both have good and bad effects for some people. It's all based on you, your body, whatever, however it is made up, right? And what you've already practiced or been practicing. But like I say, I rather more or less eat the fruits and vegetables. Even with the minor negative effects, I know that healthier for me. I know that more positive than eating the sugar. Even though fruits and vegetables have fructose and all that, but I prefer, I'd rather lead to that in that direction because I think that's a more positive way, and that's how I feel now about my entire life, and that's how I feel with this search for money. I'm trying to embrace more positive things, based on the fact of a lot of the negative things which have happened to me. And to be honest with you, to me, life, like, if any sports I could compare life to, is like baseball. In baseball is one of the sports that you could never have a perfect season, but you could have a winning season. Once you have more wins than losses, or sometimes even once you have more wins than losses than other teams, but you ain't never be three. How much scores and oh, that almost like next to impossible for how the game is made, about the game is structured, and that's to me what life about. You can have positive and negative experience, but you should do whatever you could, the best way to control as much of the positive experiences and how you react, and control how you react maybe to the negative experiences. So it's all about how you approach these situations. But I prefer to try to be in environments which are more positive. My view, what is positive, because your view for positive may be different. But whatever it is, that's what I would rather feed into. So like I said before, I really didn't know where it was taken, and this journey is still continuing, because I still kind of curious why these two different concept about something intangible. So I guess because they're intangible, I guess you could have these varying views, but I need to dig a little deeper into that. But I just like to, say in this podcast, that's my ongoing search for money, and like I say, the quest will continue. With that, I'll end, and like I always say, be good, be real, and have a good one.